understand it. We spend $40 million a month on maintaining this place. Now think of it. $40 million a month. I think we have, what do we have left in there? Like 100 people or something? So we're spending $40 million. I would guarantee you that I could do it for a tiny, tiny fraction. I don't mean like 39. I mean like maybe 5, maybe 3, maybe like peanuts. Maybe in our deal with Cuba, we get them to take it over and take and reimburse us because we're probably paying rent. You know, like Saudi Arabia, we're going to keep it open. By the way, we're going to get the cost down because that's ridiculous to pay 40. But these are politicians. These are politicians. I mean, these are just politicians. They don't know anything about dollars. They never employed anybody. A guy like Ted Cruz, he has no clue. He never employed anybody. He's a nasty, nasty guy. He's a liar, and he never employed anybody. That's a bad combination, right? I mean, I don't know. Hey, look, I told you, I'm leading in Ohio. I'm leading in Florida, but I'd like to really win in Texas. Wouldn't that be great? I love Texas. I love Texas. And I think now that he's exposed himself as a nasty person who lies a lot, I think he's going to go way, way down in Texas. So I think we have a shot in Texas. But he does commercials in me. I have one here where something to do with federal lands, and Donald Trump supports the federal government and the lands. And I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, I don't even know. It's this commercial, and it's put out by him. And I don't even know what they're talking about. And I've seen it like 5 times. I'm saying, I hope people aren't swayed because he lies. He's had to take down numerous commercials. The other day, during the vote, right, in South Carolina, it's the morning of the election. The morning. A beautiful day. I love the place. I love those people. And I think I'm going to win. I think I'm doing well. Wall Street Journal put out a totally dishonest poll, totally phony poll, in my opinion. I mean, in my opinion, because it gave us a little bit of a scare because they took me way, way down from what it was. And then when you looked at it, it was impossible. They said, this is a poll of very, 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 very conservative people. Well, what about liberal people? What about other people? They don't vote? So I saw this poll come out where I went down to like 2 or 3 points. And, you know, that's a little scary because everyone's thinking I'm going to win. It was a real hit job. And then the story was even nastier. Donald Trump. It's funny. I had a really good Wall Street Journal poll about a month ago. I couldn't find it. It was way back in the paper, and I couldn't find it. To this day, I never found it, right? Now they have this bad poll, which I was still leading, but leading by like a little slice. Front page of the Wall Street Journal. Front page, the poll. Trump doing badly. The next day, I had another one on the National. Trump doing, do you see my national polls? They're going through the roof. All over. But the newspapers, they're dishonest newspapers. They're dishonest. The Times, I think the Times is the most incompetently run. That's why they're losing their shirts. Wall Street Journal, very dishonest. These are dishonest people, in my opinion. And we have to, I'll tell you what, it's amazing. You think the media, I think it has a lower rating than Congress, which is hard to believe. Because honestly, you get these people better than anybody. I tell people how smart. You know, when I won in New Hampshire, they did a poll, and they did the same poll, right? They did the same poll in South Carolina. It was sort of like a similar poll. And it was, what do you think of this? I won with every single, I won with the women. I won with the men. I won with highly educated. I won with less than highly educated because I'm being very nice, okay? I love those people. They're my people. I love them. But I won with less than highly. I won with every single, I won with evangelicals. I won with evangelicals. Cruz was supposed to win South Carolina because it was very heavy with evangelicals. So he was supposed to win. It was supposed to be his, they call it his Bedgewater, his strong point. And I went in, and right from the beginning, I knew I could do well there because the people are incredible. And I spoke to them, and they got it. You know, they really got it. They got rid of this guy. He came in 3rd place. I mean, it was incredible. But he's a bad guy, and he came in 3rd place. You know what a great honor that is, to knock off bad people? I love doing that. I love doing it. But think of this. So on the morning of the election, I get a call from my people. Mr. Trump, I'm sorry to inform. This is the morning of the election. I've been working really hard. I was there for a month. I'm making speech after speech. I can't stand it anymore. And I figured, oh, now it's election day. We're going to take it a little easy. I get a call at 9 o'clock in the morning, earlier. And they said, Mr. Trump, somebody just did a robocall, and it's really bad. I said, really? What is it? It's about the Confederate flag. What do I have to do with the Confederate flag? Well, you said something to somebody a long time ago about, it was fine, about, being in the museum. And, it was a very controversial subject. So he took a thing, they made it into a commercial. He said, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. Turned out to be his campaign manager, okay? Oh, it wasn't him. Then he did another one about gay marriage, okay? It's fine. Did another one about gay marriage. And he puts it on. I get a call 12 o'clock. So now I have 2 robocalls. Nasty, nasty, vicious robocalls. And I said, man, I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose here. I'm going to lose in South Carolina. These robocalls are terrible. And we won in a landslide. We won in a landslide. I mean, it's so beautiful. The truth is, you're really smart people. And I have to tell you, for a while they were saying, Trump's people are the most loyal, which is true. That everybody, no. Even the really dishonest press, even I was going to say a word, I won't say it, okay? Even the really dishonest press says Trump's people are the most incredible. I mean, I had a rating, 68% would not leave under any circumstances. I think that means murder. I think it means anything, okay? And the rest, I think I got up to 92, which was like, will probably never leave. Like these incredible. Other guys are at 10%. I mean, they'll leave if you sneeze, they'll leave. They don't like the way you sneeze. My people, I love you people. Look at you. I love you. I love you. My people are the most loyal. But, they like to say, though, I see it all the time on television, because let me tell you, you're smart. They like to say, Trump has a very uneducated... Let me tell you, no. It's all... I won with the smartest. I won with the most educated. I won with the smartest. I won with people that are smarter than anybody, but they don't have the big education. My people are the smartest people. Believe me, the smartest, because they get it. They get the total dishonesty. They fully understand it. And we won with everything, but we have the smartest people. Remember that, folks. We have the smartest people. They like to say that because they think maybe that's a negative. Just like these cameras, they'll never show that corner of the room. They're never going to show this room. They're never going to show this room. I mean, no, they're never going to show it. They won't do it. They won't do it. I've been working in them. That's why I love protesters, because the only time they move is for a protester because they think that's negative. Last night, can't stop the Trump. You're right. Can't stop this crowd. Can't stop this crowd. When I first started with the speeches and the crowds got bigger and bigger and bigger, it's word of mouth and the movement started. And now they're talking about, they say, I get a call from a very important writer, most important, happens to be a liberal. And he calls me up and says, how does it feel? I said, how does what feel? How does it feel? What you've done has never, ever, ever been done before. I say, doesn't feel at all. If I don't win, it's a waste of time. And I'm not talking about winning primaries, getting to be the nominee. I'm talking about winning against Hillary or whoever we're going to be fighting. And this reporter, and he said it with respect, he says, no. It doesn't matter whether you win or not. What you've done has never, ever been done in the history of politics. And I said, maybe so and maybe not. But to make our country great again, we have to win, and we have to be able to do all these things. So that's the way I view it. I view it. It was actually a very complimentary call. By the time I finished with him, he never wrote the story because, it's interesting because I was so negative on it because I really believe that. I could have had a nice story about it. It doesn't matter. But you do have to get Time Magazine because they talk about the movement. They talk about what's happening. They talk about it in the most glowing terms. And they talk about it in the most sophisticated terms. They talk about we're the internet compared to a store like Macy's, which was extremely disloyal to me, by the way, very disloyal. Don't shop at Macy's. When I went out, good friend of mine, was a good friend of mine, when he ran Macy's. When I went out, and this was sort of crazy, and I said, we have to stop illegal immigration. I started doing the whole thing. Turned out I was right. But it took 3 or 4 weeks for people to realize it. But when I went out, I got a call from Macy's. And they said, this is a very controversial position. Now, look, it was peanuts. I'm selling shirts and ties. It's not a lot. Not a big deal. And the ties were made in China, so I didn't even care, to be honest with you. I was probably going to have to get away from that one pretty soon anyway. You want to know that. But they came out and they said, Donald, this is very, very controversial. We're going to have pickets coming, Hispanics. By the way, I think I'm going to win the Hispanic votes. Do you know, in the state of Nevada, you saw it the other day, I win with Hispanics. I win with Hispanics. First of all, they're here legally, and they don't want their jobs taken away from them. And second of all, and importantly, they know I'm going to bring jobs in. They know I'm going to take jobs away from Mexico and China and all these places. But they said, we're going to have pickets in front of Macy's. I said, so what? Have pickets. I have pickets all the time. I have pickets like all the time. And here's what happens. They'll picket for 20 minutes and they want to go get lunch and they'll never show up again. He said, no, this is terrible. We're going to... And that's what happened. They showed up for about 2 seconds. But in the meantime, they said, can we do this? So I said, just very disloyal people. Just remember that. I don't shop at Macy's too much anyway. But don't shop at Macy's. Don't shop. You know what? Because in my opinion, they don't have the best interests of our country in mind. That's what I say. They're more interested in being politically correct. And political correctness is killing this country. Remember that. It's killing this country. So, and I told you before about Christianity, we are going to be saying at Christmas, very soon after I get in, we're going to be saying Merry Christmas again. We don't say it anymore. Merry Christmas again. When I made the statement, and it had to be made, and I've had so many friends that were Muslims calling me up saying, Donald, not all of them called me, but some called me. Some very, very successful ones called me. They said, Donald, you've done us all a big favor because it's something that has to be talked about. There's something going on, folks. And when I said we have to have a temporary ban, it was so important. Now, nobody else is going to say that, and I knew it was going to be a rough thing to say, but there's something going on, folks. When you're flying planes into the World Trade Center, when you're killing the 14 people in California, when Paris happens where you shoot 130 people and you have many, many people dying in hospitals, it was so tragic. You have people so mortally wounded. By the way, the toughest gun laws anywhere in the world are Paris and France, okay? They had no guns on the other side. If a few of you characters were in that room and you had your gun along your ankle or along your waist, it would have been a whole different story. Would have been a whole different story, believe me. Would have been a whole different deal. I tell my friends, you know, these guys, they want to take away the Second Amendment. You have a couple of people, like Hillary Clinton. She wants to destroy the Second Amendment. No, she does. A really bad issue for her, but she wants to destroy the Second Amendment. When I negotiate and debate with people, especially from New York, because they all think, oh, get rid of guns, get rid of guns. When I talk to them about it, in front of people, I like debate them. I like it, because that's a debate you can't lose. And I say very simply, if we had guns on the other, where the bullets are flying in both directions, like not just one direction. The bullets now are flying in two directions. Boom, boom. You know what's going to happen? They lose that debate every single time. Every single time. I call them up the next day. They say, do you agree? Right? Do you agree? They say, nah, I don't. They can't win that debate. So we're going to protect our Second Amendment. We're going to be safe. We're going to be happy. And nobody is going to mess around with it. Nobody whatsoever. Remember that. Just remember that. So the other day, something very bad happened. And it's peanuts compared to others, but it was very bad. To me, it hit a nerve because I buy the product, right? I buy it. You know what it is? Come on. Carrier, right? I buy Carrier air conditioners. I buy a lot of air conditioners. Now I buy Trane because, you know, I like them when they're made in this country. But the other day, it was announced very, very strongly, it was announced that Carrier is leaving for Mexico. 1,400 jobs. And somebody had one of the cell phones going. And they have it going as this executive is saying, we're closing up shop, we're moving to Mexico. And I said to myself, that was sad. It was sad to watch it. And these people will never get jobs like this. They'll never get jobs like this. They were there for many, many years. They do a great job, make a good product. They're going out, they're going to move. They're just closing up, and they're going to move to Mexico. And other people are also moving from United Technologies. They're going to move a lot of businesses to Mexico. I said to myself, you know, like I was a really good student. I went to the best school, the Wharton School of Finance. And whether you went to Wharton or whether you went to high school or whether you didn't go to high school, believe me, there's nothing good coming out of these trade deals we have. There's nothing good. So they're going to now move and they're going to make air conditioners. And here's what's going to do. The people running against me, and all of the people in Congress, senators, everyone, they all have special interests and lobbyists and everything else. In fact, you have lobbyists, it says on their name, the head, I represent Ted Cruz. I represent this one and that one. In all fairness, Jeb had Woody Johnson of Johnson & Johnson is his top fundraiser, his top campaign finance chairman, right? Woody Johnson, pharmaceutical. Okay. Now, do you really think that Jeb or anybody else, and I'm